Good morning, Breakfast Club family. This is Mark Stevens with your host, Joe Shoup. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Welcome to the new people. Welcome to those that have been here. This is the third week since we came back on the air with our new format. Got some great information for you today, so we're going to get right to it. With that being said, good morning, Joe Shoup. How are you?
Good morning. You know, it reminded me, I'm great, by the way. Thank you. And how about you?
I am fantastic and amazing, heading to phenomenal.
Well, when you said that, it's really funny that that you say Joe Shoup, because when I was younger, my wife's little sister was only about 5 years old, and while we were dating, I knocked on her door one day, and Andrea, the little girl, said to me, "Joe Shoup, what's your last name?" Because everybody calls me Joe Shoup, so that's really funny. And I said Shoup is my last. She said, no, your last name.
So she thought it was your whole name, your first name.
Yeah, she thought Joe Shoup was my first name.
Yeah.
So I still tease her about that these days. Anyway, good morning and welcome. And Dan will be with us. He's on his the corporate call. And hopefully they won't delay him there, and we'll be here. But we had a long talk yesterday, Dan and I, regarding work and work ethics and the boot camp that's coming up, and you know what people need to understand to be successful. And you know, we all know this, Mark. We've been teaching this for a long time. It's not new information. It's not information that we created. It is just that we follow patterns, and that's what has to happen in this business. You can't just join this company in this arena and hope something happens. And I think I don't blame people for the statistics that are out there that show that most people, are maybe just about paying for their products or not making money. But basically, let's say that they're not making the money that they want to make. And I think we can say that some people know and don't do the work, and others don't know what to do. And I really think it really comes down to being a business person, and whether you've had a business in the past or not, you still understand how a business is run. It takes, a plan, and it takes an execution of the plan. All businesses, successful businesses, run that way. McDonald's runs that way. You buy McDonald's. Well, you can't buy one today unless you own one. The waiting list is so long of people that already own them, they wouldn't even sell one to somebody who doesn't have one. They have the first shot at the new one. Why? Because they're successful. I think there's only ever been one McDonald's, Mark, in the entire history of McDonald's that closed. I believe it was in Europe, and I can't remember why, but they've never failed. And the reason they haven't failed is because they have a system of behavior. When a person buys a McDonald's, when it starts, when that owner moves into the building and takes over that first day, he's following a pattern. They sell them a manual. That's what you buy when you buy a McDonald's. You buy a manual, and you must adhere to the manual. They tell you exactly what to do to be successful. You can't change the menu. You can't change the way things are done. You do it their way. And that's what has to happen in a business like this. You have to decide what pattern of behavior you are going to institute. How are you going to run a business? Now, you really should be following someone who already has that in place. Of course, you have the option. We are independent contractors. And we have an option to come into this company and say, here's what I'm going to do. There isn't a pattern of behavior set by the company that you must adhere to, because we're independent. We own our own. We work out of our homes, most of us. So you have to either be part of or create a system whereby recruiting never stops. Our business is telling people we are in business. That's what we do. We're in the business of telling people we're in business. And whether it's family and friends to be customers, or whether it's a prospect that you are looking for to be a partner or affiliate with you. But I suggest you follow a pattern of behavior. So we've been talking a couple of weeks now about patterns. What do you do? How do you start your business? What's going on? Well, we have in our system, we have a back office, and I don't mean a carrot bar in your carrot bar website, but in our Tools Rock website, we have a pattern of behavior listed. It's a training room. It's a carrot bar / ad tech / Tools Rock training room. And what it does, it walks you through step by step. So when we bring a new person in, they go to that area and they follow a pattern. The first section is all about carrot bars, how to get your business set up, physically set up. And that means from registration to your KYC documents, to your setting up your monthly exchange of cash for gold, watching the videos on how to get all that done. We don't spend time explaining how KYCs are done. It's already done. It's on a tape. It's on a video. You send people to it. They watch it. If they have trouble, then they can talk to you. But other than that, you don't have that kind of time in business, because our business is finding the interested parties who want to manage a successful business from home. And that's what you should be doing 90% of the time, spending all of your time doing that. Not get a new person and all of a sudden go into training mode and spend hours and hours and hours with people training them. Our system trains them. So you have to be part of a system whereby that search for the interested parties never stops. And if you stop, then it keeps going. And the way to do that is, once again, have a pattern and a plan. And Dan and I talked about this yesterday, about what it is that you do when you wake up in the morning. What is that pattern? What does it look like? For me, it starts the night before. I was taught that by Bob Safford, who said, you can't think in the morning to get your day started. At the end of the day, before you go to bed, is when your day starts tomorrow. That's when it starts. It's a plan, a things to do list. Mine consists of two sections. One, things I need to do. The other section is people I need to call. And that's all listed before I go to bed. When I wake up, I don't have to think about that, or did I remember something or forget something? And it starts with sitting down, turning that computer on for most of us, and going through that list and scheduling them in the order of importance. And so once those things are taken care of, some of the early things that you have to do, your search begins. So we've been talking about, well, how does that search go? What do you do? And I know, Mark, you and I talk about this all the time, is the language of the prospect. What are they saying to people? When we start the communication class, an 18-year-old class being taught in this industry, that starts out with a question, what have you been saying to people? What have you been talking about with your business? What is it that you say when someone asks you about business, or you think you have an interested party? What do you tell them? And that, again, is part of the system, the pattern of behavior. Knowing what you're going to say, knowing who you are when you tell them. Meaning, are you the big director who's going to go blab and blab and blab, or are you the person in training, that director in training, who just guides them to a piece of information? Now, I know Dan is a very big fan of putting people on a sizzle call, I don't know, 1 minute, 30 second, whatever it is, call. They have different sizzle calls out there that people listen to see if they are an interested party. I mean, it's a pretty good idea. If you get a good listener, someone who really is going to listen, and hand them 30 seconds to a minute of information to then find out what is your interest level in getting more information. I mean, that's a big step for them. That's what they do. Some people contact people and send them information. That being said, recently there were 2 new websites launched. And since we agreed to share our information with that group, it's available to get 2 of our websites while we can have 2 of theirs. Jennifer Ashby worked her tail off to develop those 2 websites. And they are phenomenal. I mean, what do you think about those websites, Mark?
They are definitely phenomenal. It's like it's gone to a whole new another level.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I you know, we've used the Friends and Family website. We've used the AdTech Gold, the former 12-week financial freedom plan website. And we say website, these are marketing funnels, and they're called funnels because you funnel people through the steps. They read a piece of information in the beginning, listen to a 2 or 3 minute video and audio and video, and then fill out some information if they're an interested party. Now, once again, Dan says, here, hand them a phone and listen to this and let's see. That funnel does the same thing. I think Dan's theory is, and you know, it's not a new theory, it's just that you're right there with them. Let's just see what their interest level is. What does it say? Now, let's go back to that question. What are you telling people? I love this new funnel, what it says. I think it was Gary who did that. I was informed of that the other day, Gary Pruitt, who actually did that call, that front end. It's beautiful. It really grabs your attention on that first one. The second one is the video on the people going to the bank and getting their retirement money and getting handed blank pieces of paper. Hey, good morning, Dan.
Can you hear me?
We hear you. God bless you. Welcome.
You're the cat advice. What's that?
I'm the knucklehead. I give everybody hope.
So anyway, we have that that other video that on the front end that shows that. But the bottom line is, what is it that you're saying when you hand them that information, whether it's that sizzle call or whether it's that video, that funnel that they're going to go through? And by the way, that new funnel, this is very, very interesting. I don't know if many people know this, but they created this, Jennifer created this so that, let's say somebody looks at that information. They go to the website, they see that first 2-minute piece of information, and they decide to move forward. That takes them to 5 other steps, I think, 4 or 5 other steps. So when they fill it out, they move to another page that says Know Your Gold. That's the first funnel. And what happens is you get an email when they've done that and clicked it on. You get an email stating, well, your prospect just looked at Know Your Gold. And then if they click to the next one and it goes to how it works, that's a title for that section, you get another email that says they've just gone through funnel 2. Then another one says referral income. It says, okay, they've just gone through funnel number 3. And it tells you how far they have gone in the process. I think it's ingenious to know what they've looked at. So again, now we're back to that pattern of behavior. What is it that you do? You wake up in the morning and you're all set. If you've done your job the night before, you have planned your day, and you get the things of importance out of the way, you know, get those done, and then start on the process of looking for the interested parties. And no matter how you're doing it, you should be spending 90% of your time doing it. And so we're excited about that. We're excited about I was telling them, Dan, that you and I had a talk over the weekend about this, yesterday I guess it was. And you know, what is it that you're doing in the morning? Are you getting up and preparing your day? Now, if you have a full-time job, then it means that, you know, you probably have that day at work to maybe jot down what you need to do when you get home from work. I feel bad that some people have to go to work 9 to 5 and then come home and try to build a business. I mean, that's a little rough, especially if you have a family. But you've got to have that work ethic. You know, it's just what Einstein says. It's not the learning of facts. It's the training of the mind to think. And it all starts the night before. thinking about what you have to do, and then going into the pattern that next day, starting the process by doing the things that grow the business. And it is, again, it should be part of a system whereby that search for the interested party never stops. The recruiting actually never stops. And once you stop, the system should be in place that it's continuing on without you. So Dan,
Joe,
go ahead, Mark.
Another aspect to that, and Dan will probably touch on that. That is getting set up properly. You have the tools, you have the system, but you have to know what you want to accomplish as well, and you got to find out, and you have to decide for yourself, like we always talk about going to work. What are you willing to do? Do you want to go fast? Do you want to go slow? Those types of things. But in order to do that, though, you have to have the tools, you have to have the system, and you have to understand how to get set up properly to operate your business.
Absolutely. And that also entails knowing the language. I said this earlier. What is it that you're saying? What are you saying to people? And then step 2 is, what are you saying to get them over to a director? Are you asking them, would you like to talk to a director? Or are you being in training as a director and directing that call? I never ask anybody, would they like to, or even basically say, well, would you like to move over there, and here's what we're going to. No. It's moving them forward to, hold on for a second, I'm going to get somebody here who can answer that for you. Hold on for a second. And I just go. You can't ask that permission, or you're going to get people who are going to hesitate. So, Dan, I thought you'd comment on this and review this with us, and appreciate you being here today. And I know you had a busy morning, but we appreciate you being here. And I appreciate our talk over the weekend. I had got some good information from you and some good thinking.
Absolutely. Tomorrow have a conversation on an invitation call to align a strategy with another sister team that has been highly successful, that took many components that we all use right here and just reframed the actions and then created massive success with it. So the process of, as Mark said, getting somebody set up properly, when you first get somebody started, you got to know what they want and what they're willing to do, and part of the director call is an interview and finding out that process in an interview fashion. My phone is like going off the hook, so I'm muting it right here. And knowing that you have your contacts and spheres of influence, however you drum them up, whether on your phone or through internet technology, phone contacts, paid sources, whatever, and then sift for the interested parties. There's many different ways to approach this, and I'm not saying any one way. Consult your senior partner and director for the best methods that you can. You may have a large list, you may have a small list that's within your reach, but utilizing the strengths of the directors to follow up and getting you out of the way of your own success during the initial sifting phase, because as we all know, we're sifting for the interested parties, not sitting there trying to convince people. That is what people who are unsuccessful do. Okay, and the sizzle call has turned out to be a key driving force in getting the interested parties quickly to sift in order to get them the information. So, and then once they're sifted parties, we take them to see the big picture. You've got to get a plan in front of them. What is it that we have? How does it work? And how do I make money in a simplified fashion? And in the process, somebody can participate in a number of different ways, and helping them get what they want based on they're willing to do makes people happy. Happy people do 2 things. They buy gold and they tell other people. It's really simple. But the connection to follow up with a director, it's invitation, presentation, 3-way conversation with a director, which takes you out of the way of your own success and a brand new person, until if you decide that you want to go make 6 and 7 figures of income, you can go become director and help that process. You know, getting people set up properly is key and important. You know, you need to know what they want to accomplish and what they're willing to do. They want to go fast or slow, want to make a little or a lot. You know, and you're basically giving them an interview and then placing them based on what they're willing to do and the correct formula for that. And you know, getting somebody started first, you take a little extra time with them. You're not so happy to go. Don't be so eager to go get 500 people that you leave the first few not started up properly. Register. You know what? One thing I've seen: set the beneficiary tab. Key important. That program's in their brain that they're going to have something that they're going to work to that's inheritable. And if you talk to professionals like doctors, etc., their kids aren't going to inherit their doctor skills. That income from that stops when he stops working. This, they can go to work and create an asset that spins off residual income and is inheritable to their children. That's a big selling point. And then, you know, we get a package, we upload our documents, we upload our bonus codes with them, digital bonus codes from that, set their auto exchange up for gold, so it's automatic. Order your MasterCard, set up your e-wallet, and then plug them into the team training websites and know what their follow-up emails are and what they're going to do in the first 30 days. And then, you know, learn one new thing in the back office every day for 30 days. You'll be a genius. But most important, if you don't know who your senior partner director is, you can't connect them to it. Okay? You want to go fastest? VIP a gram a week and ask 100 people for 5 minutes of undivided attention in 30 days. That's the fastest way to go. Duplicate it. You'll sponsor 20 people with using a call and directing them to your information. Okay? And do 25 in first 72 hours. Do 25 in your first 72 hours to get yourself a kickstart. The pattern that makes it work that you're going to hear about that has been extremely successful, that broke 35 gold director elites in the last 6 months and 150 directors, has a pattern. And it's taken from the best of that we've all done. Your first 30 days, we want you to have in your brain that you're going to do enough work to get your gold for free, folks. That's right. You're never going to dip into your paycheck, your personal finances, or anything. We're going to get you cash flow positive. You know, be a VIP or upgrade to VIP within the first 30 days. That's it. Get to manager rank. Managers make about $1,000 to $3,000 a month profitably. Okay. Second benchmark, next 30 days. You're going to earn back all the capital it took you to be VIP and have that all in your hand, including any marketing costs that you have incurred in order to be successful at the business. The goal is to create an asset that gives you freedom. Okay? So second, you know, as I said, the second benchmark, you're going to move from manager to director. That's $3,000 to $5,000 a month profitably. You earn back all that money, so you have an asset that's 100% free. You're free of any type of capital that you put into it. It's all self-generating. In the third benchmark, you're going to magnify the output. You're going to create a residual income freedom asset created globally. You're going to be a gold director or gold director elite, break-in directors, $5,000 a week. And don't bargain with it. Duplicate, do your share of work. You don't have to be a superstar. Just be smart enough to get in the way of it and move it up, move through it, and open some doors. Some will be bronzes, some will be silvers, some will be VIPs, some will do gold once a week, some will do gold once a month. Some will do gold, they'll just go buy quantities of it, and other people, you know, along the way, you'll open up enough doors, the blessing will come down your left and your right team. And, you know, most important thing that you can do to help people see belief is show your own invoices. What happens with that is they see if is it good for you. Number one thing with internet marketing is, are you doing what you're asking us to do? And then, you know, and then move to create the asset through leveraging cracks of time, not by investing money. We don't invest money. We leverage time in order to create the asset, and everybody's got it.
Hey, Dan, I wanted to, you just that second said something that's people need to hopefully they know this, but maybe get in there when people ask them some of the questions. One of the important things to me when I saw Karatbars years ago was the difference between our company, Karatbars, and every other company that I had been with in these 22 years. And that is this, that when you take that cash out of your pocket and you exchange it for gold, it is totally different than taking the cash out of your pocket and exchanging it for a juice, a vitamin, a product. And the reason for that is this: when you have purchased the product, let's say, I don't know, some type of energy juice, vitamins, nothing wrong with that. Obviously, you want to be healthy, you want to do those things, but the problem is that becomes an expense of your business. That's an expense. You have to do one of three things with that product. You have to either consume it. Most of the time, the requirement for those companies, the product is more than you can take yourself as an individual that you have to purchase in order to be in the pay plan. Number two is you have to sell the product if you don't use it all. Or number three, you're just going to let it sit there. So either way, it has become an expense of your business. You have to list that as an expense because the cash is no longer available to you. In Karatbars, when you take the cash out of your pocket, you still have the asset. It is not an expense of the business. It has now become another asset or an asset because now you have a product that, hey, if you don't want that gold any longer, you can actually get the cash back. You can't do that in any other company. You could be a year to 5 years from now and actually go into your account and take the gold and get the cash back. And, of course, we all know that history shows us it would be more cash than what you paid because it would grow. So that is the major difference that people need to understand in what is different than any other company, because we actually continue on with an asset. We don't have expenses in our business when it comes to the purchase of product. And when people get that in their mind and that information is transferred, people start to see that, geez, it really doesn't cost me any money. Yes, I'm giving up the cash. I can no longer take the cash to the store and go buy something and have another expense. Certainly you can't do that. You've already exchanged it for gold. But if you want the cash back, go get the cash back. I mean, it's as simple as that. But the bottom line is that we have exchanged one asset for another, one that's depreciating and one that will appreciate over time.
Joe, before Boomer addresses that, this is why I always say Karatbars is the only company that I've ever known that I would want to be garage qualified in.
Yes.
The only company.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, that's the main point. The process creates an asset. Okay? Now, all of us, anybody who's been in, you have to understand where it fits in. The three components of any economic structure on the planet are demand, supply, and medium exchange. All multi-level marketing fits in the supply stage. They're consumables or subscriptions. You either you get something that dissipates, or you get a bill to pay, period. That's it. So the difference between that is we save money in Karatbars and grab a Karatbar. You spend money when you get a consumable or a subscription. At the end of the month, what do you got? You still got a Karatbar. What do you got at the end of the month? Another bill to pay. And you don't have any assets. When you stop doing the very thing, the process, what do you got? Karatbars has an asset for you, and that's never been a bad problem ever in any place I've ever seen. So the process, and how many times have people seen? They've tried to reach a bracket. In their MLM company or whatever, they try and reach a bracket and meet the next goal. And they do it. And they got more stuff in the garage. Or that in order to even maintain it, just to maintain their income, as you said. That's exactly correct. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had to have a backhoe before in some businesses. Because my shells filled out and I needed to dig a hole and a shovel wouldn't do. So, but this, the actual acquisition of the asset that we have, which is pure gold money, you actually can leverage yourself to even get it for less. Simple. Which would you rather have? The simplicity way to ask this is, if the company that paid you a paycheck, I don't care what company it is, regular, traditional company, asked you, would you like to get paid in cash, gold, or a combination of both, how would you answer it? Huh? I mean, that's a litmus test. In a conversation with somebody to test the waters. Try it. It might be sounding like it's coming out of left field. But how long have you been working for Teledyne? 12 years. Well, if Teledyne asked you, would you like to get paid in cash, gold, or combination of both, how would you answer that? Listen for their answer. You could also do this. This may sound like it's coming out of left field, because it probably is. But if I had $10,000 in cash in my left hand and $10,000 in pure gold in my right hand, and you couldn't do anything with either for 5 years, which would you choose? Ask assertive questions. Joe, your whole basis is QAQ.
Yep.
Always. The art of asking questions is the most fundamentally important thing you learn to do if you're going to communicate with people, because it lets you know what they either learned or what you think. One of my famous follow-up questions is, what'd you learn so far? Right? That tells you what they've seen, etc., and what they comprehended.
Hey, Dan, let's see if we, Marianne, I want to address this because she asked the question. I don't know what you mean, Marianne, when it says, please give address again. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you were talking to somebody on the chat or us or so on. I have no idea what that means. So if you want to elaborate on that, we'll handle that for you. Dan, I also wanted to show very quickly, I'm going to share my screen a minute, and let's just go. Mark, if you want to keep an eye on that answer there while I do this, I won't be able to see an answer for her. And if anybody has any other questions for Dan while he's here, let's do that. We have a few more minutes to go. We'll extend this a little bit today since we have Dan with us, which is, we don't get Dan all the time, so once a month maybe, and that's good. We don't want to. Dan has enough work. But look, all this is great information, and just as Dan said, I learned a long time ago that QAQ, it means question, answer, question. It's part of the communication class that is taught. Website for AdTech. I'll show you something in a minute, Marianne. I got you. Look, in this communication class, you learn the things Dan's talking about right now. It's what you do. You learn what QAQ means. You learn the 5 steps to a phone conversation. You learn how to actually be in control comfortably. You learn how to dismiss someone when you realize the conversation has not gone the way you expected it to, or thought that it would, or wanted it to. And you recognize this isn't the person that you're looking for. Look, just as Dan said, you're sifting, and you realize you can't keep on with a conversation when you know that this person is not the right one. How do you know that? Well, by their attitude. They're not following. They're challenging you. They're coming back with, yeah, but this industry, yeah, but are you doing this? Or are you making money? And why don't you tell me? I've seen these companies before. See, when you start getting that, you should not turn your dial up and try to convince. It's over. It's over. The question is, how do you get out of it? How do you politely move away from that conversation and go search for the next one instead of trying to convince this person that, no, you don't understand. If you just saw this, it would be okay. You would understand. No, they're not going to see that. Not now. No means no for now. That's what it means. Doesn't mean forever. It means no for now. That happened to me in my career, Dan. A fellow came to visit me. My neighbor, prior to me being in networking, brought a guy to my house because she was my neighbor, my next door neighbor, and came into my house and said, "Oh, I want to talk to you," and she brought this guy in. And they sat down, Dan. I didn't pay attention to hardly anything they said to me for almost 45 minutes. Flipping pages, and I'm wondering, how do I get out of this? And, they were talking about insurance and protection, and, I was a newlywed at the time, and it was just crazy. And I didn't pay attention. Guess what? 1 year later, I was on the stage getting an award for the newest RVP in Primerica at one of our star schools. And when I was done my talk, the guy who was at my house, Larry Sepinen, never forget it, ran up to me and said, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I was at your house a year ago." And I said, "Oh yeah, I remember you. Why didn't you come with me?" You know why? Because no means no for now. Doesn't mean forever. He never followed up. He never called me again. She never mentioned it to me again, the next door neighbor. So the point is, it's not that you give up. You just have to get away from the conversation. How do you do that? How do you get away, people? I mean, how do you politely move away and then get to the next person? You learn that in the class. There's a way to do it. There's a way to very nicely find out how you move forward. And move forward and get to the next call and just brush it off and be happy that you're the one that dismissed them, that you're the one that walked away from the conversation. And guess what? If you have a contact manager, I'm about to show you, you'll be able to put them in the contact manager and keep feeding them every 3 or 4 days, every week, a piece of information that reminds them. Had Larry done that, I probably would have been with him. My career probably would have changed, as far as, what group I was with and where I worked. Well, let me share my screen a minute, and then then you can finish up with this. Let me just make sure I get this screen sharing properly. Mark, let me know what we're about to see. I'm gonna.
Well, while you do that, while you get the screen share set, let me just make a comment.
Sure.
Whenever you're prospecting somebody for your business, they have to qualify for your team in your time, or they're out.
Yep.
And you have to qualify in your conviction with them while you're discussing them. Therefore, you need to be over the bridge of belief. And we know with a shadow of a doubt that successful people follow the pattern. If they're not following the recipe to make it successful, for instance, acquiring gold. If you're not acquiring gold in your own account, the secret, hidden, subconscious honesty mechanism kicks in, and it will inhibit you from asking them to do something that you're not doing yourself. That's the way it works.
Yep.
That's how the subconscious mind works on you. So by doing it, it's empowering you, and even if you had to struggle to do it, guess what? You will be emboldened in your conviction, in your tone, your tempo, and in your questioning process in order to get them to understand in that fashion where you are at with this and to see if they qualify for you and the rest of your team. That is a key movement that we've seen that helps people move forward.
Now let me elaborate on that a little bit, Dan. With people, a brand new person, I mean, would be very intimidated, in my opinion, to think that all of a sudden they're on the phone, they're brand new, maybe they're here 3 weeks, 2 weeks, a week, and they don't have the confidence to to see if someone qualifies. That's why you have to understand who you are. And in the class, you learn who you are. You're not the person who's sitting there qualifying. If you're a director, then you're qualifying people. And yes, you want to see but when you're in your sifting process, you certainly want to see if they qualify. But you don't have to take over as the director and all of a sudden be intimidated because maybe you've got somebody even more powerful on the phone and you don't know how to handle them. You are a director in training. You learn the process of getting people over to the director properly. Anyway, we'll talk about that at another time. But let's just take a look at what's on the screen. Can you see the screen, Mark? No, Mark's on mute.
Yes, I can see it now.
All right. So, Marianne, there is one of the websites. Look, we have a system of websites that we choose to send to people. This happens to be the newest creation. And this, when you actually belong to the system, you get to put your username in the front of it. I mean, we all have one. And when somebody does that, I'll just briefly show this. This is the newest capture page, let's call it. They'll call it a website or a marketing funnel where people will look at, as you notice, it's 2 minutes long. And when that's done, they fill out this information and get access to the next page, which I will show you. But it also shows you here what you'll learn on the next page. Before they even fill it out, they can see why gold is honestly the only true money. That all gold is not created equal. Explains our gold, right? How to protect yourself from the devaluing dollar, how to transform your financial situation. They plan to protect yourself, your family, and your future, and your next steps to get started. Serious people only should inquire. I mean, what's that tell you? Look at that. If you're open and ready to change your financial future, we want to hear from you. So, and then your name and so on is down the bottom. When they fill it out, they end up here. Now, we created this page a long time ago with Jennifer, and we've made it part of this other system. This is also the second page to another one called Friends and Family. But it tells you here at home, it talks to you about, thanks for being back in this little video getting in place for 3 minutes, but basically. Then it goes into Know Your Goal. Dan, when I talk to people, I'm on this website all the time. Because if someone does ask a question, whether I'm the director or in training at the moment, I am able to, if somebody says to me, look, I heard something about LBMA, what the heck does that mean? Certainly you have to answer that question, but if you have it in front of you, this is a learning tool here as well. Study this and you will learn. And then learning how it works. Every time, most people didn't know this, Jennifer recreated this, every time you move to the next page, it tells the person's website you're on that they're on the next page. And then again, it tells you how it works, how when you purchase gold, what happens. You take delivery or you store it. And then of course, it talks about the referral income. This one plays a video. This happens to be Lloyd on here talking about the income. I mean, you don't have to talk about how it all works, referral income. You play the video and they hear it. And some more sophisticated ones. But it goes on listing these things until you get down to Meet Karatbars, which happens to be, about the company. Did I click that? There we go. And it goes on telling them what Karatbars is about. If you have a prospect who sees this information, you don't have to spend an hour with them. You can guide them to the information. And it plays, once again, another 2-minute video that shows up. This is very quick. This is what Mark was talking about. This is the funnel that we love. I mean, we love this funnel now, especially the front end of, well, the whole thing, really. But it gets you information. It educates you very quickly. A new person should be able to go through this and get very educated on who Karatbars is, how it all works, what kind of gold, and so on. Okay, so that's that system there that we're talking about that was just created. And we have access to now. So if you were a Karatbar user, I'm sorry, ToolsRock user before, just reactivate your account. We've sent that out, and if not, and you want to do it, then just, contact us, and you'll be able to, see how to do that. So that's what I wanted to say, Dan. This is what a new person, this is part. I mean, this. I know Dan puts them on a sizzle call, but maybe he'll send them here when he's done the sizzle call. When they want more information, it's probably where he's going to send them. I mean, Dan has one of these, so so this gets them the information they want, and the key thing is to schedule. If they say, good, I'll look at it, let's get back together again, don't ever just say, okay, when's it good for you? I'll change my schedule and make it happen for you. The key to making an appointment is for you to set the appointment. When you own a store, you set your time. So my process on setting an appointment is to give them, times. Alternate times. Is this good or is this better? So now that we've spoken, Bob, and now that you have an interest level that that will help us move forward here, I'm going to send you this information. Go here. Let's take a look at this. Let's get back together and see if we're still on the same page. So let's see. Today is Tuesday. Now, are you available in the afternoons, or are afternoons good, or are evenings better for you? If it's in the afternoon, I'm going to try to schedule him today. He says, well, evenings are good. I'm going to say, great. Let me look at my schedule. Let me look here. Yes, I haven't. You're in Eastern time zone? Okay. Let's see. I have a 7 available, or would 7:30 be better? That's how professional people set appointments. They don't ask you, well, what time's good? Go ahead. I'll see if I can match it up for you. That basically says you're not busy. Number two is you want to schedule your time. You don't want to have to run to the store and somebody make a phone call while you're out in the drugstore, supermarket, wherever you had to go. You set the time to meet with them, and then you call them back. And you go through the process, a slight interview process in the beginning to see what their interest level is in moving forward. Move them to the director. The director takes over. 4 to 5 minutes, that person should be registered. If they have an interest level of anywhere from 3 to 10, they should be registered. Really, they should be registered at that point. And that's the importance of that director who knows how to get them there and get them into the process so that they can get into training somewhere. They can get into everything that's happening every day in Karatbars. There's plenty of great people who are teaching on a regular basis here to help get people in. And so that's it, Dan. That's for me. That's it. That's what people need to know. And so I'll let you close here and do your closing thoughts. And appreciate you being here, Dan. Appreciate you getting over here.
No, thanks, Joe. Appreciate that too. Look at the simplicity of doing the process is like washing dishes. Once you get in the swing of it, anybody who's washed dishes can do this business. You just got to get you out of the way of yourself in being successful. Tools help. Why? Because they create a replicatable pattern that duplicates. And if you always are trying to talk Karatbars, you might be the best person talking Karatbars since Karatbars has been in business. It doesn't matter. They can't do what most people can't do what you do. And so it ends after somebody, when it comes to somebody who's either needs to know everything there is to know to talk about it, or tries to finish up with the people that know them and know they're not the gold guy, and therefore, what do you know about it? The process that takes you out of the way of your success is simple. Invitation, presentation, three-way conversation. It isn't hard. You just got to replicate it. Take the dirty pot, put it in the soapy water and scrub it. I rinse it in clean water and put it on the rack. I take the dirty pan, put it in the soapy water, I scrub it, I rinse it in clean water and put it in the rack. I take the dirty glass, I put it in the soapy water, I scrub it, I rinse it in clean water, and put it on the rack. Just go do 100 units of work, follow the process, and the rest of it works out. And yes, there is a direct correlation between if you're using internet technology and website technology with follow-ups and putting people into a contact manager, that does drip. They know that something like 42% or something will engage within the first couple of contacts if you're going to use a contact manager. And then it actually increases over time by how many repetitions they have had to the information. And some people blow it off and the other people engage. But getting the process started, get fast out of the gate. Don't make this a long, drawn-out thing. You can make this thing be a 10-year business, or you can make this thing be a 90-day to success business. 0 to success in 90 days, right now. Not later, right now. And so I'm leaving you with that reinforcement. You'll hear more details coming out as our main team moves towards aligning ourselves, just as every major company has looked to as they expand. We're not merging, we're just sister companies and brother company together, looking at a process that will help you expand your success. That's all. Not here to change anything in anybody's process. We're here to give you the enlightenment of how a pattern replicates throughout the process, sift for the interested parties, connect them to the information, follow up with a three-way conversation, get you out of the way of you. Okay, the rest of it works out. I want to thank you very much for your time and attention today.
Over to you, Marco.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Appreciate that information. You, Joe, too. So, bottom line is, go to work. That's the bottom line. And know what you want, get set up properly, know how to do the right communication, and do enough of it. And as Boomer said, you do enough of it, it'll take care of itself. So with that being said, everyone, peace and blessings to you. We look forward back to seeing you here next Tuesday, 12 noon, on the Breakfast Club. So go out, make it a great day, and share this phenomenal opportunity, and let people know that right now we are in the greatest transfer of wealth that mankind has ever seen. Don't ask them, would you? No. Tell them this. Is there any reason that you wouldn't want to benefit from the greatest transfer of wealth that mankind has ever seen? And remember this also. We don't buy anything. We just exchange the fiat paper currency for the real money, which is the gold money. That's all we do, because we can get it back. If you go buy groceries, you give them the money. You can't give them the money back for your groceries because you might have opened the bread, you might have opened the milk or whatever. So let's all go out and become garage qualified. Peace and blessings to you, everyone. Make it a great day, and we'll see you back here next week on the Breakfast Club.